Hey guys, long time no talk. It's been over 20 days. It's finally time. I just didn't have a lot to talk about, so yeah. But I do, thanks to Sean Head. If you didn't know, Sean Head is a very far left YouTuber, but she is against the whole identity politics. I started following her through her politics according to feminism and stuff like that. She has come out as a socialist, which, what can you do about that? But she did make a thread on Twitter, which I found out about from Lauren Chan. Uh, so she made a thread on Twitter talking about this picture and tweets relating to that picture. She blurred everybody's name out, so that wouldn't be up to me. If it was up to me, I would leave their names in, just because I think they're predators and I think we should expose them and I think we should know their handles so you guys don't actually accidentally stumble upon them and then all of a sudden, you know, be groomed, which is a very real possibility. So I don't want that to happen. If it was up to me, they would be in. It's not up to me. But, their pictures are still there. So if you find them by some odd chance, that would be amazing, and mass report them because obviously they have dangerous views, which we don't want to be distributed. Okay, cool. But we're gonna be talking mostly about that thread and reacting to the tweets from that thread. This is the infamous picture. This picture became famous a couple of years ago, and the whole internet hated it. But apparently now people don't hate it, which is a big problem. I have touched on this topic in particular when I was talking about how much I hate Pride, and obviously we're walking into June, so we're gonna do a part 2 on that video, of course. But this is a problem. Because you're bringing kids into kinks, into something that's overtly sexual. And a couple of years back, when this picture started airing around, this would be oh no, don't worry, this is an isolated incident, this is absolutely disgusting, like obviously this shouldn't happen, but this is an isolated thing, we shouldn't include kids in overtly sexual things. But Pride isn't about sexual things. Pride is all about love and acceptance and stuff like this, which I can totally get behind, if of course it didn't come with the nature of Pride that I genuinely don't like. But we can make a video on that some other time. But why do I have a problem with this picture necessarily? It's because this little girl is petting these men dressed up as dogs. You can have all of your kinks. I'm not going to sit down and kink shame you. You can do whatever you want behind closed doors, in your house, in your bed, with your partner, as long as it's consensual. I don't give a shit what you do with your genitals, to be quite honest. I don't think anybody does except you and your partner. So do with that what you will, you know what I mean? But I do find it concerning when we start bringing children into this. And as you're gonna see in some of the tweets that we are gonna be talking about, some of those tweets actually say that kink is kid friendly, which I don't think it is. Arguments of just as the kid are absolutely not valid, because are arguments that pedophiles genuinely use, or MAPs. I will be referring to them as MAPs, which means minor attracted people. We're gonna be talking about that because those are arguments that they use, that oh, you can ask a kid if they will consent, and if they say yes, then they consent. Well, that doesn't really work out, because if you don't have the information for something, you're inclined to say yes, especially children. Like when you're talking about sex with two children and you ask them, hey, this, and they're like, oh, we should, okay, but they don't know what they're saying okay to. They don't know what they're consenting to. That's why it's not really consent, because they don't understand what they're saying. There's adults that don't fully comprehend what's going fully into sex, let alone you would expect like a child to. And that girl looks like about 7 years old in that picture. Like, why would you put her in Pride? And it's one thing to teach your child acceptance. If you see a woman and another woman hold hands and they kiss, on the street and your kid asks you, hey, why are these two girls kissing? Like, what's wrong with that? Like, what is it? And you say, oh, these girls are actually in love, just like mommy and daddy are in love. They can be in love too. That doesn't make them any different. They just have a different preference from mommy and daddy. It's completely okay. You can totally explain like that to a kid and that will be fine, and that's teaching them acceptance. But we've moved on from teaching them acceptance in that way to teaching them acceptance in things like, you remember the child queer kids stuff? We've been doing that. And ultimately that channel, everybody was talking about it. It is very harmful. I don't think it's on the internet anymore. I'm not quite sure actually, but I know there's no new videos being posted on that channel. And that channel was harmful and in many ways, because you can't explain these types of topics to kids, because ultimately it comes to sexual preferences, and if you overly simplify things to kids, they will all of a sudden think they're gay or lesbian when they clearly aren't. But if you explain gay as being like, you're a boy and you love other boys, well, kids love everybody. Kids love their moms, kids love their dads, kids love their friends, kids love their teachers, and then all of a sudden they're gonna think that they're bisexual or lesbian or gay without actually being that. And it was explained with colorful blocks and a sidekick of a teddy bear, which means your target audience is about 3 to 5 years old. Of course they're not gonna know that. Coming back to the thread that Sean had made, this one is the first one we're going to be discussing. Stole a phone for this purpose. Kid literally is like, oh guys, acting like dogs. Adults can play, pretend, and dress up too. How fun. No. Maybe, yeah, the kid might be thinking that, but if you want to explain to your child it's fun, you know, even if you're an adult, you can play dress up. What you can do with your child is play dress up with your child. You know, you can dress up like Elsa and the child could be Anna, or you can reverse, you know, and you can have a tea party like that, and that will be fun, and that will be a great bonding activity with your kid. Bringing it into this, again, isn't something normal, and isn't something that we want to normalize, isn't something that the kids should be involved in. Okay? Next one. Children are exposed to violent images all day and night long, but God forbid they see someone in a thong. First of all, don't go to Pride in a thong. Please, for the love of God, nobody wants to see that. Second of all, that speaks more of how much our children are actually exposed to violence and how we should prevent that from happening, rather than children should see anybody in a thong. Like if a child sees that on the beach, frankly, fuck okay, but let it not be in the middle of this day on a street with adults blatantly portraying their kinks. That's the whole issue. It's that person doesn't clearly understand. Oh, here we don't even have a picture, so oh well. Sex is not an adult topic. Kink is not an adult topic. There are some incredibly kinky children out there. Go get some help. Go to therapy. Yes, it is an adult thing, because children cannot consent. This is a genuine minor attracted person that is trying to normalize their thing. You pedos are not into our community. Don't try to be in our community. Get the fuck out of our community. Sorry, that's the dog sprinting. Get the fuck out of our community. Please don't be anywhere near our community. We don't want you. Please get the fuck away from children and go get therapy. And get off of fucking Twitter. Oh my god. Excluding kink from queer spaces tells those kids that who they are is wrong, just as much as excluding trans or gay people would be. Protect the children, protect kink. First of all, children, again, are too young to understand what sex is, let alone what kink is, And also, I don't think we should be bringing kids into queer spaces whatsoever, because it's not their place there. Because to be in a queer space, to be gay and to be lesbian or trans or whatever, you have to have at least reached puberty to understand these things, because then you would have attraction. But we're not talking about literal children, because children don't have sexual attractions because puberty hasn't hit them. Genius. 10 out of 10. Protect our children by exposing them to sexual acts that will ultimately bring them PTSD and trauma and will destroy their life. Amazing. Top logic right here from a top pedophile. Sex is family friendly. Again. Sex is family friendly. You looks. How do you think families came to be? I don't want my kid to see fetish stuff. Why? Because it's not meant for kids. And yes, sure, families came to be through sex, but I don't think that should be something you explain to a 7-year-old. Well, you should, if a 7-year-old asks you, where did I come from? Like, where do babies come from? You say from mommy's tummy, and they don't ask any further questions. I know, because I have a sister that's 9 and a brother who's 8. And if you tell them that, they don't ask further questions. That is a perfectly valid explanation. Don't explain the birds and the bees to a 7-year-old. Thank you very much. Where does that thinking come from? What is the race? Okay. What if you raise a kinky child who can't feel opened around you? Because I don't care. If I have a child and that child becomes 18 and they have some weird kinky shit, I don't want to know about it. It's not a family friendly thing. I don't want to know about your kinks. I think that we shouldn't. Let's become a little bit more closed off as a society. We're accepting, sure, but let it has to have a cutting off line. This is a slippery slope, and the slippery slope is, guess what? Fucking slippery. And we start accepting kink around children. Next thing, children can consent. Next thing, pedophilia, okay. See how slippery that is? Let's not go that route. How about that? Maybe we should just, ask the kid. That doesn't work, because again, if you ask the kid wouldn't know what you're asking them. They wouldn't understand. Therefore, they wouldn't give you a coherent answer, because they don't know what they're answering to, because they're children and they cannot consent. They don't understand these topics. Why am I repeating myself so much? Well, guess what? Because people like this exist. And you think I'm no, it's on the screen for you. You can see it. You literally see it. You see what these people do. You see it. It's scary. It starts off with educating children on what trans is, and all of a sudden we have a spike up into trans kids, but also what we have a spike up but nobody talks about is detransitioners. And then all of a sudden you have a spike into gay children, a bigger one than ever, and gay acceptance is declining. Well, it's because of shit like this. It's because we involve children into that. Stop involving children into that. Stop it. Because gay is good, gay is amazing. I'm a part of that community. It's amazing, it's a wonderful community, but let's not destroy everything we've done by doing this. Let's not. How about we focus on, if we're gonna be talking about youth, because we're talking about youth, let's say talking about teenagers, let's educate teenagers on that. That would be great, amazing, sure. I say let's get better sexual education to teenagers. That would be amazing. That would be great. That is a cause to fight, but let's not involve actual children. Let's talk about homelessness and gay youth, because homeless youth, most of it is gays. It's mostly gay kids that have been shunned away from their family. Let's build better support groups for them. How about that? Let's Let's try to do that rather than involve children into a wonderful community that doesn't need children in it, because at the end of the day, it is not kid friendly. Because as much as we love the gay community, as much as the gay community is a wonderful community, it is not a community for kids. Not because all gay people are pedophiles, it's because it is an overtly sexual situation. No matter what we are talking about, we're talking about our sexual preferences, because let's be honest, being gay, being a lesbian, being whatever, it is a sexual preference, which means that it involves obviously sex, which is not a child-friendly thing. We shouldn't be involving children into that. Let's stop involving children into that. How about that? These are all the tweets I have saved. I will link Lauren Chan's video down below because I think it will be amazing and I think it will be great for you to see it. It's obviously a way better video than mine with so much better quality. And I wish I could link Shorehead's Twitter, but I'm not on Twitter, so yeah, you can go check that out. I would love if you like, subscribe, and comment just for the engagement because it's fun. And yeah, I love you guys, and I hope I can see you in my next upload, which I promise it will be sooner than this one was. I love you, and I'll see you next week, hopefully. Bye!